There is a waterway in Egypt that most people have never seen. 193 kilometers long. And right now, it is failing. The Suez Canal carries 12 to 15% of all global trade. For container shipping, the stuff that fills your stores, it's even more critical. 20% of every container ship on Earth passes through this canal. But in early 2024, that number collapsed. Trade volume through the Suez Canal plummeted by 42%. That is not a headline. That is a structural failure, confirmed by the United Nations. This isn't a shipping story. This is a cost of living story. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly when it hits your bank account. Here is what happened, and it started with a single decision. In late 2023, Houthi militia forces in Yemen began attacking commercial shipping vessels in the Red Sea. The Red Sea is the only approach to the Suez Canal from the south. So the world's largest shipping companies made a choice: stop using the Suez Canal entirely. The data is stark. Weekly container ship transits through the Suez Canal fell by 67% year over year. That is confirmed by UNCTD. And by February 2024, more than 20% of the entire global container fleet had been diverted away from the canal. They all went the same way, south around Africa, around the Cape of Good Hope. And that detour changes everything.
The Cape of Good Hope detour sounds simple. It is not. The additional sailing distance between Shanghai and Rotterdam via the Cape is approximately 4,500 nautical miles. At standard cruising speeds, that is 10 to 14 additional days at sea. Per trip. Every trip. For every ship. Now here is the math that the headlines miss. When a ship takes 14 extra days to complete a route, it cannot pick up its next load. That ship, its crew, its capacity, its containers, are all unavailable for nearly 2 weeks longer than normal. UNCTAD calculates that this rerouting has effectively removed up to 20% of global container capacity, without a single ship being lost. And this is the part that should concern you. Global demand for goods did not drop. The same cargo, fewer available ships, the same ports. That equation only ends one way.
Let us talk about the direct cost of this detour. According to LSG Shipping Research, that is the London Stock Exchange Group, rerouting a vessel around the Cape of Good Hope adds approximately $1 million in extra fuel costs per voyage. For the largest mega container ships, that number rises to $2 to $2.5 million per voyage, not per year, per single trip. Now look at what that did to freight rates. The Freightos Baltic Index, the industry benchmark for container shipping prices, tracks what it actually costs to move a 40-foot container across the ocean. Before the crisis, shipping from Asia to Northern Europe cost approximately $1,500 per container. By the peak of the disruption, that same container cost over $4,000, more than double, in a matter of months. And the Freightos data is not a projection. It is not an estimate. It is real transaction data from carriers and freight forwarders. This is what the market actually paid.
Here is where this stops being a logistics story and starts being your story. The Suez Canal is a critical energy corridor. Between 7 and 10% of all global seaborne oil passes through this waterway, confirmed by the U.S. Energy Information Administration. When the canal slows, oil tankers wait or reroute, and Brent crude prices react accordingly. But the deeper impact is on everything else you buy. According to UNCTAD's 2021 Maritime Transport Review, the benchmark academic reference on shipping's economic impact, a sustained major surge in container freight rates has the potential to raise global consumer prices by up to 1.5%. That does not sound dramatic until you apply it to food, to medicine, to household goods, to energy, across an entire global economy simultaneously. And consider what moves by sea. More than 80% of all goods traded globally are shipped by ocean. Electronics, clothing, furniture, components. Major manufacturers, including IKEA and Tesla, have publicly flagged production delays and price adjustments as a direct consequence of the supply chain disruption. This is not abstract. This is inventory. This is price tags. This is the shelf you shopped yesterday.
Here is the mechanism that most coverage gets wrong. When freight rates spike, that cost does not appear on store shelves the following week. There is a lag. Shipping contracts are typically negotiated months in advance. Manufacturers absorb the cost shock first. Then they raise wholesale prices to distributors. Distributors pass it to retailers. And retailers eventually pass it to you. That transmission process takes 6 to 9 months, which means the freight rate surge you saw in early 2024, the doubling of shipping costs from Asia to Europe, was still showing up in retail prices well into late 2024 and into 2025. UNCTAD confirmed this directly. Quote, "The full impact of higher freight rates will be felt by consumers within a year." This is not speculation. This is the documented historical pattern from every shipping shock since the 2008 financial crisis. The question is not whether the price reaches you. The question is only when.
For 30 years, the global economy ran on a principle called just in time. You do not stockpile inventory. You do not build buffer. You order exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, from the cheapest producer on Earth, and a ship delivers it on schedule. The Suez Canal was the physical infrastructure that made that system possible. And what 2024 proved, definitively, is that a single choke point, 193 kilometers long, is all it takes to break the entire model. The world is now shifting to just in case. Longer supply chains, bigger buffers, regional production. All of it more expensive than what came before. So here is what I want you to do. Check the labels on your last 5 purchases. If they came from Asia to Europe, or from Asia to the US East Coast, you are already paying the Suez tax. You are already on the other side of this lag. The question for the comments is simple. What are you seeing at your local stores right now? Are prices moving? Which categories? Which products? Let's talk data. Because the numbers don't care about the headlines. They only care about what actually gets delivered.